You speaking live now.
All righty, folks. We are at Lunch Beach with Crazy Bill TV. Today at lunch on the Pacific Coast. It's 3 o'clock if you're on the East Coast, and everyone else can do the math in between. Today, I got I got the Money Man, Monopoly Money Man, Wesley Moore with me. Jason, bring him on. He's got his walrus picture there. So today at Lunch Beach, what's the name of the walrus, Wes?
It's Doctor. He's a chiropractor. It's Doctor Buddha.
Doctor who?
Buddha.
Buddha?
Buddha. Yeah, Doctor Buddha, who is a real person.
What happened to him?
He's still there. He's still a chiropractor. He really is a chiropractor. He doesn't look much like. Well, actually, he looks kind of like that. He's the shaman. He's a shaman. I think he's a preacher. I'm pretty sure he's one of those preacher types that can, marry raft gods at Lunch Beach.
What's his fee? You got to pay in Coke and bologna or what?
And you know how they consummate it, right? It's the two hands with the heart, and
like
the dude pees through it. Yeah, that's how they consummate it at Lunch Beach. You saw that shot. That was funny.
Yeah. We've been paying too much attention to BKWT page.
Oh yeah, it's some good shit.
So you were talking about the Obed, which is in your backyard. What's that running again? You were telling me numbers, but
well, today it was yesterday. It peaked at 10,000. So, and that was in the Obed Canyon.
That's so the Obed.
You would have been riding on 10,000. It's not like some gauge way down below there. Has more tributaries and shows more water than what it really is. You would probably really have been riding on. Yeah, you'd probably really been riding on 8 to 10,000 in a fairly narrow riverbed.
Cool. What's the Obed far as a class rating? Is it a class 2 plop and drop? Is it a class 2 plus? Is it a class 1? Or
well, they don't recognize plop and drop out here.
What's wrong with the East Coasters? They don't understand what the plop and drop is, or what?
They do understand that it's all good to go until you're swimming or pinned.
Is there ever a time it's too high or no?
Well, you won't be pinned, likely. But you could be swimming.
So when it's higher, do you get the takeout quicker or no?
Well, if you stay in the current, you will.
Babcock's been making fun of me lately, and he's like, that's a Bill Eddy over there. He's like, that's a Bill Eddy over there. So, which means it has to be big enough for a creature craft. Maybe the bigger ones, though. It can't be like a micro Eddy. Has to be pretty big. Has to be enough to hold your bologna and Coke in it. So you gotta make sure the Eddy's big enough for that. So
maybe a really direct path into it. Not hard to catch.
Yeah, exactly. Like you still have to row to get into an Eddy. You can't lolly dip, so you can't be a lollygagger. So so you said you did the Obed at what was it? What's it running now? 6,500 or 3,500? You said.
Well, right now on the gauge it was like 6,000 something, which is way down below. And that's probably not a bad estimate for what it is now, because it drops usually about a half in a day, and it was 10,000 yesterday, so it should be getting down close to 5,000 today.
Cool.
It usually drops half every day. And normal rain. This is normal rain event. I don't know how much rain we got. Maybe it was 2.5 or 3 inches up there in some places.
What's the highest
So,
you ran it at? You said you ran it in a hurricane? Only crazy people would do that. That sounds crazy. Running in a
well, I mean, it
hurricane.
was just well, no, I mean, we're not in a hurricane here, but we get a lot of residual rainfall. We oftentimes will get 6 inches of rain from a hurricane, you know, in the mountains, and so now you've got something under you.
So
Like
where is the put? So where is the
I
put
think
in for the Obed at?
when we did the Obed, I think it was 4 years ago now, something like that, and it was 37,000 at Lansing. The Obed at Lansing, which is right in the middle of the run, was 37,000. So more than what anyone ever would dream to see in the Grand Canyon is what we had in our little Obed.
Let me interrupt this conversation. According to Darren Benson, that's massive.
It's pretty good amount of water, man.
Wow.
It makes really cool features when you have giant rocks in the river and on the sides, on the banks. It makes some really cool features. Especially when you
how big were the holes when you ran it at 37,000?
Well, we weren't sure what was going to happen, you know, when we saw that we were going into some of them. But we didn't really ever get completely cartwheeled or anything. We just went really deep.
Did the bologna get wet? Did the bologna get wet in the cooler or no?
We didn't. I don't think we had any bologna. But there was a point in time when we wished we weren't there.
Seriously.
And we pulled over and were contemplating carrying out when it was getting rough because, well, one thing, we had never been in a creature craft.
That was your
Neither
first
one
time?
of us. And we were in Little Purple, R2ing.
That sounds like a great idea.
That was a big rock. And Dalen was in his G2, and I don't think it's really big either.
How many boats did you have? Just 2 boats, or did you have 3 or 4 in the river?
Just two. Just two. Dalen was on oars, and the two of us R2ing. And we only went over on the side once. We only went over on the side once, which was pretty amazing. Of course, we knew the river really well, so we did know where to put the boat. It was just not that easy to do it.
How long is that run? 6 miles, 10 miles,
12
miles?
It was 12. Yeah.
So you did the whole thing. You guys didn't actually, did you take out and do like, so you had to come to Jesus Beach is what you're telling me. We did after about 3 miles. We were like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And, that's a horrible idea. This is a Clay moment. That's a horrible idea. What time?
Well, what happens is that, you know, as it is very common that the big named rapids aren't the worst of it anymore. It's the ones that are class 3 that now have become the problems.
What was it like? So, all the big rock features did you know from like being at low water what was going to probably be big because of the structure that's in there and all the rocks, or what?
Yes, we did. And so, you know, like just for a reference, there's some rocks on the left side of the big rapid, which is Rock Garden. It's the main named rapid on the Obed Canyon. That normally there's this large rock formations on the left, and you're standing pretty far off the water level, probably 15 feet or so off the water level, and the very top, about 4 inches of that rock was sticking out of the water when we went by. And normally a half a dozen people can stand on that rock and look down at the river.
How far are they looking down when they're on top of it?
About 15 feet or so.
Dang.
Yeah, because it's constricted. The bed's constricted with 37,000 CFS, and it's also the riverbed is slab rock. It's slab sedimentary rock, so it's a conveyor belt.
Did you see any wood in there? Any big wood?
There was not so much. We didn't have problems with trees.
Yeah. Was it at the peak, or was it coming down according to the gauge, or was it staying constant the whole time when you guys launched?
I think that was about the highest. I think the main Obed was like 120,000 that day at the lower gauge, which is the it's the Emery at Oakdale. I think it was. Well, no, maybe it was 60. It goes from 60 to 120 pretty fast if there's another chunk of rain that comes through. But I think that was a 60,000 CFS day on the gauge.
Was there a line of 2x4s? I mean, kayakers that put in?
There was not a soul there. The Rangers were there, and they wanted our names because they wanted it for the newspaper.
The newspaper? What section? The obituary, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's
good thing they didn't stop us. I guess they thought that we looked like we knew what we were doing, and they just couldn't get over the boats.
Oh yeah, with the creature crafts.
Yeah, because they'd never seen that before.
And then, you guys have pictures or video of that day, or no? Anybody got pictures or video?
No, we didn't. We took a couple of shots with our phones, but we couldn't really have anything with us that we didn't want to lose.
So you just got a couple pictures of put in then, or whatever it sounds like.
Yeah, we got pictures at the put in at the breakfast table, and there was like a standing wave where the bridge, if you could see where the bridge drops down and then comes back up the other side with the road. And so you could see the bridge was completely covered, and in the middle was a standing wave. So
you couldn't cross the bridge, and did that bridge get taken out or no?
No, it's pretty solid. And then the upstream part from that is the Daddy's Creek, which is kind of a real popular kayaking run here.
How long is Daddy's Creek?
And that's another 6 miles, and that's like really, really much more continuous and steeper.
What's it per foot?
It would have been quite a story to tell if we had done that too. But we would have probably been in trouble in that little purple boat.
Why? Does Daddy Creek got bigger holes or what?
Well, yeah, it gets kind of when the river gets up like that, it gets to having the exploding waves, the just vertically exploding water. 10 feet or more of just exploding water going up and surging, because all the surges and all the rocks is really rocky, and there's a lot of diagonal holes, and you really don't know what those are going to look like. But you know how that is with the creature craft. If you're R2ing, you're looking at flipping, and you're looking at flipping in a solid high class 4 section of river that doesn't let up.
And that's class 4 at like normal levels, right? That ain't class 4 at like 35,000 or what is that?
It's
so
a
that's
pretty,
like a fifth of it, so it'd be like $6 or $8 grand in the creek or something.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty high class 4. It's high enough class 4 to where it scares a lot of people off from even going at normal levels for kayaking, which is super low, just a few hundred CFS.
And it was in the thousands that day, huh? It would have been in the thousands.
Yeah. I think it was about 10,000. I think it was about 10,000, and I don't think that we've been in there once kayaking before when it was probably 5,000 or so, and we started portaging And we were at the top of our game.
Is portaging, is that also known as shouldering your kayak? You put it on your shoulder and start walking?
It's not really walking too much there. You're climbing, around big boulders and stuff. But
wow, so you not only get hiking, you get climbing. That's one hell of a place. That's a nice. Is that all in the brochure or no?
Well, I don't know if they have a book that's specifically the Obed that talks about all the things you can do there, but I haven't been by the ranger station in a while. But of course, there is tons of climbing guides there, and then there's the two books that Edelman wrote, and it's probably pretty detailed in there.
So you guys did the Obed. What time? When was that? What year? You remember what year that was, or how long ago that was?
That was 4 years. I think it was 4 years ago. I'm gonna say it was 2017.
Really?
I think it was 2017, maybe 2018. Wait, no, 2018 is when I was up there boating in Washington and Oregon and Idaho.
Correct. You think it was 16 or 14?
No, maybe it was 16. Maybe it was 26. Yeah, because I hadn't bought my boat yet. I had never been in one. So yeah, it was. I think I bought it in 2017.
When did you buy your creature craft? When did you buy your creature craft?
I think it was 2017.
Oh, okay.
I can go looking, but I think that's when it was. Oh, anyway.
And that was your first time in a creature craft, was the Obed at 35,000?
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
Well, it's kind of mine. But my friend Dalen wanted to go too. I mean, he had been creature crafting. He'd been with them on their trip to South America. He had done the Mammoth Falls thing.
Yeah, he's done Mammoth. He's the one that got beater at Mammoth, which sucks.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was the discussion? So what was the discussion like at the Come to Jesus speech 3 miles in? I want to hear what that sounded like.
Well, it was like there was a half-mile Jeep road that we could have tried to drag the boats up. But we, it has some elevation gain to it too, and it would have taken a long time with 2 boats and only 3 people.
And no cart with wheels either, or trailers, huh?
Yeah, we didn't have any we didn't have a cart or anything. So
how long was you there at Come to Jesus Beach? Did you eat lunch too while you was there, or no?
We stayed there about an hour.
Wow.
Really trying to decide if we were going to go on. And we just got to that point where we were just tired of talking about it.
Yeah. And just like, hey, we're going to do it.
Well, if we walked out the half mile, we would have probably then had another 10 miles or so to walk to get back to the car that was at the takeout.
Wow.
No, maybe 15 or so in the dark. And it was cold. It was winter, or it was fall, late fall. So it was, cool outside, and it wasn't really desirable to sit out there in wet clothes. We didn't have flashlight.
So it would have been a 15-mile hike in the dark and almost dark and cold, or what?
Probably so. Yeah, it probably would have been 15 miles or so.
Here's another big creature craft question. What time did you guys launch?
We wanted to get an early start.
That's what they all say. Man, we need to get up early and get going. And then 10 o'clock rolls around and we're like, yeah, this isn't early.
Yeah. Well, the river trip wasn't that long. It was just a few hours of water time, but it was pretty intense, though. It was pretty fun.
So how long did it take you to get to that 3 mile mark when you pulled up? Was you on the river like a half hour or like 20 minutes or what?
Yeah, just maybe it was 15 or 20 minutes, and we'd done 3 miles.
Dang.
Yeah, it was moving fast, man. It was moving fast.
So it's kind of good you pulled out to Come to Jesus Beach, or also known as Lunch Beach. Did you guys eat while he's there? Did you take anything with you guys or no?
Yeah, we had. I guess we had some snacks and maybe a few beers or something.
Was it
But
raining the
none
whole
of us
time?
were really, we weren't really in a party mood right then. I mean, we were really kind of trying to figure out how to get to the takeout.
You were contemplating if you're going to be in the obituary or not, right? When the officer asked.
Well, just of course, no one really knows what a creature craft's going to do when they've not been in one and they've just seen it. And so when you see what they do and you get into the big water, then you start. It takes more than one run usually for you to trust it, right?
Oh yeah, a couple actually, and different scenarios with it too.
Yeah, we were having to trust it. We were having to trust it. So, you know, it's a little different from being on the side of the road with the car and a shuttle person there and everything like that. It's a wilderness run.
So it's a 50. So how long would it take if you would have hiked out as a choice? That's a 15-mile hike. You said. How long would that have taken?
It probably would have taken all night, considering we were in, river booties.
You said river booty. Anyway, back to
we could go back.
Programming.
Well, that's because we didn't have our jellies.
What are jellies?
Are you old enough to know what river jellies were?
No, you're like old as the hills if you know what jellies are.
That's a whole nother episode of Plop and Drop for you to go and explore some of the early attire that was commonly used. There were these brown, they were like a reddish brown. It was like the early Croc.
Oh, okay.
Which we could say a lot about Crocs. But if we talk about jellies, you're going way old school. Single buckle.
Is that like a cork vest? Is that as old as a cork vest? Is that
it's like a Jesus sandal. It's like a little rubber.
Oh, the Birkenstocks. It's like was it the original Birkenstocks, the jellies, or no?
No. The toe is kind of the front's not completely covered up. It just has, it has holes all in it in the front. That makes it look like a Jesus sandal with straps, like a rope sandal. It looks like that a little bit. And but anyway, they were dark brown. That's all they had.
Oh, is this before Clay?
Everyone more jellies.
Is this before Clay put the NRS strap in it?
This was when Clay was a little bitty boy, probably. Yeah, or he wasn't even born yet. I don't know. Look it up. Early 70s river jellies.
The river jellies, huh? Who made them?
Yeah, maybe they can make a comeback. Give Crocs a bit of run for their money.
Who made them? What company made them?
I have no idea.
Wow, the jellies.
They could have been. They were likely American made. I mean, I don't know.
But, so when you guys did that run, what time did you guys take out? Was it dark, or did you have a little bit of daylight?
Yeah, we had a little bit of daylight left.
And then where did you guys go eat somewhere, or did you just go home, or what? Or what'd you guys do?
Yeah, I think we it seems like I remember we may have went and grabbed a pizza or something.
Yeah, I would celebrate doing that kind of run, especially like if it was that crazy.
Yeah, I probably spent several days trying to decide if that was good or bad. Just a basic question. Was this good or bad? Would I want to do that again? And within a few days, I was like, I really wouldn't mind having one of these boats, but I want a bigger one. Yeah. I want a bigger one.
So how would you think doing it today with what you know now, with all your experience in the creature crafts?
Oh, today would have just been fun. It would have been probably a good day to do the Daddy's Creek, which no one's done it. No, creature craft. I mean, people don't really usually use any inflatables up there at all.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. It wouldn't be so bad except for a swim would be really bad.
Yeah. What about the wood in Daddy's Creek? Is there any wood, or does that all usually flush out every year?
It flushes out pretty good. I mean, it's mostly rocks. It's mostly sizable rocks on the riverbed.
Cool.
And so, I mean, you could have some trees in there, but it's a pine forest, and so it's really sandy.
When was Daddy Creek's first run? Like back in the 60s or 70s, like when kayaks first came out, or no?
Yeah. People went in there. I'm gonna guess late 60s or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Something. It's gorgeous, man. It's a really, really spectacular. That whole it's sedimentary canyon, probably 500 or 600 foot walls.
Yeah.
So it's pretty gorgeous.
How far is the Obed from your place? Like an hour or two? Is it in your backyard or what?
About an hour and a half or so.
Cool.
Yeah.
How far are you from the Gully?
There should be some kids out there. Probably there's some kayakers out there today.
Oh, I'm sure there is, with it being high.
I'm gonna guess. I had some buddies that wanted to go to the Piney River. That's probably was running a good level today too, but I didn't get much detail, and they wanted to take a raft, just a raft, small raft. So, if anything happens, and that river has rebar, some rebar sticking out of the rocks in some places. So if you got into any of that, you'd be in bad shape.
So on the Obed, where is Lunch Beach on the Obed usually at lower water? Is it where you guys stopped, or?
Yeah. And there are a bunch of great places there. I mean, if you get to do it sometime at a more normal level, you can do some multi-days on it if you wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, you could, because there's several rivers, several sections. And if you put some of it together, you could easily run 50 miles or so if you wanted to. 40.
Also, you can make a 2 or 3 nights.
You can make it a long run. Yeah, you can make it a long run. You sure could. But just southeast, people don't do that. They go home.
Do they lose their keys like someone we know, and it's time to go home? It's time to go home. Yeah. FYI, we love you, Bean.
I'm curious about what kind of response we're going to get out of Bean wanting to put together multi-day trips in West Virginia.
Yeah, he's wanting to do one. He's actually trying to put one together. Bean is right now. So if anyone's interested, put down in the comments you want a boat in West Virginia, and we can get in contact, because Bean, our friend, is there. So the master raft guide of all rivers, king of the class 2 plop and drop. So
yeah. If he talks some people into doing it, and then they are willing to go do it again, I'll be impressed.
Yeah, multi-daying is fun. What I like about multi-daying is the campfire. As we speak, there's a bunch of trips happening right now on the North Fork of the Smith and the Illy. Those are the big hot items because it's springtime and it's raining. So I could actually do like 2 back-to-back Illy trips. I could go on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I could go like Friday and Saturday or something crazy. And then this Saturday, I think I'm going on the North Fork again, which will make like my 6th or 7th North Fork this season. So I feel kind of special. I feel special. Some people say I'm special. No, the other thing I'm wanting to do is the Oahe. Me and Wes have been talking about, so I've been researching that too. So that's definitely a multi-day that is fun for sure. But no, I have to get out. So when does the Obed normally, like, when would you catch it high? What's it typical? Like this, like February, April is when it's typical, or no?
Now, April. March, April,
Yeah.
maybe into May a little bit, and then hurricane season in the fall.
Okay, so typical rain season, which is March, April, and then fall. What like September, October, or like August, September?
Yeah, September. Hurricane
September, okay.
season.
So March, April, and September is when you could possibly catch a really high Obed. Okay. Trying to narrow it down to a couple months so people get an idea or whatever. So.
Yep.
Cool.
So.
Alrighty. Well, this is we'll wind this up here. So this is Bill Guy with Crazy Bill TV. This is the Class 2 Plop and Drop. I'm doing lunch at Lunch Beach every day. Going to try to go live. This is my friend Wes. We've gone boating before. He lives in Tennessee. He's a creature crafter. What's your boat that you have?
Say that again.
What boat do you have as a creature crafter?
Bakun.
He has a Bakun. It's the orange and green top one, right?
Yes, it's early. It's a Bakun that was in transition. It was when they were transitioning the Bakun from what it had been for a while. 13.8.
So when you say transition, that means it hadn't had the surgery yet, or no?
It means they were one-offs. Every time you got a boat, you got one like no one else.
All righty.
So the front lines got changed a little bit, and it's a great boat. And I've gotten to show some people down. Had some people in it. It's been a handful of people use it. You guys have a great day.
All righty, everybody have a good one. This is Bill Guyman. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell. Leave comments about the Obed if you've done it or not. If you have questions, we'll get to them. I ask them. So everybody have a great day, and we'll see you guys later.